You're building apps the wrong way, and I will prove it to you with only one sentence. I'm Alex from Rebeloper.com, and make sure to subscribe to the channel. That one sentence is, you do not have an exit plan. So today we are going to talk about the 7 golden rules of apps that sell. Let me just tell you the 7 golden rules of apps that sell even before you start building your app. So this video is about building out apps with this in mind, how you can exit with a sell of your app. And I think that this is very, very important when you are building out your apps. You have an app idea and you are going to build that out with these 7 golden rules in mind. It will be much, much easier than, let's say, you already have an app and you want to sell it, but actually some of these rules do not apply for your app, and then the evaluation will be really, really small and maybe you can't even sell it. Now, this video is sponsored by bluethrone.io, where you will be able to sell your app. And there's a link in the description. Go ahead and check them out. They are really, really cool. Now, this evaluation will be also done by bluethrone. So please keep in mind that when you are going to build out your app, these should be your 7 golden rules. Okay. Now, what is the second one? Well, start with the exit plan. Even before you have an app idea, this is so crucial. People just say that, okay, I have an app idea, they heard it, or just put it one by one and just put it together. But is your plan really great? Do you have an exit plan? How would you exit this business, this app? How would you do that? How would you sell that? How would you manage marketing, business, all of that? Well, if you do have an exit plan, then you have a good app idea. And what to do before the first line of code? Well, build your app with the exit in mind. Your app, and this is what you have to think about when you think about, okay, I want to exit, I want to sell my app. Your app value will depend on some key characteristics that we are going to take a look at today. These metrics are used when evaluating your app for sale, and build your apps already with these 7 key traits in mind. So what are the 7 golden rules, aka how to not suck at an app idea? Okay, rule number 1 is your niche is a raging river. So try to think of all of the niches that you want to position your app in. Well, actually, your app should be inside a niche that is a raging river. It's not stale. It's not just a little pond that nobody's talking about. It should be a raging river. And a niche trendiness is key for app evaluation. I hope you do know that. Is the river where your app is living moving faster or slower? Or here are some other questions that you might want to think when you are kind of trying to build your app, and whoever is going to buy your app will ask these questions like, are your downloads increasing, decreasing, or staying stable? Hopefully they are increasing. Or are new apps appearing regularly in your niche? Now, this depends. You might want apps to be appearing in your niche, or you might not. Is the volume of some of your common search words increasing or decreasing? Again, increasing should be preferred. Is the price of the search words increasing or decreasing? Again, increasing. Is the cost per install increasing or decreasing? Now, if you are trying to, if you have an app idea and you are trying to build this out, please do ask these questions, because after a while, and we will see when you should actually sell your app, after a while you will need to face these questions. And if the answers are not in your favor, then most probably you will not get a sale or a good sale. So let's move on to the golden rule number 2, and that is maintenance costs are low. Now, when you are building out your app, think of your maintenance costs. Will they be really, really high or really, really low? If the maintenance costs are low, that is a goldmine for the buyer. So think of how complex is it to sustain your app. Here we have the roof replacement problem. So let's say your app is a house, and how easy it is to replace your roof. If it's really, really hard, that you have to dig down and change a lot of issues, let's say with the wall or with the windows, then that is not that is really a complex app, and it is not really sustainable, because over the years, and apps do need updates. So this is a key factor that buyers are looking for. And let's just grade your app about design complexity. If a user wants, if the buyer wants to change the UI or just wants to modify it, will it be easy for them to do that? So just grade it from 1 to 10, 1 being the lowest and 10 being the easiest, like the hardest to, let's say, change the UI. Back office control and management of your app complexity. So do you have to hire any people for managing your app? Technological complexity, like do you need a whole new rewrite, maybe from Objective-C from Swift, or from UIKit to Swift UI? So that is also something that you need to consider when you are building this out, because buyers will definitely think about these. Content complexity, so how many views there are, about the updates. So how can this app be maintained? And after that, you give yourself a total score, and of course, the higher the score, the better. So do think about these complexities. Let's move on to number 3. So rule number 3 is your payment model, and this is your payment model is your business model. Aristotle said, well, not really, this is just a joke, but do keep in mind, your payment model is your business model. Now, what type of payment model does your app have? Is it a single payment, like you just have, like on the App Store you have it for $1.99 or $10.99? This is a single payment. The user just purchased it and it has it for a lifetime. Is it ads based, like you just add in ads from Google or whatever? You just add ads, it's free for example, for download, and then it has ads. Or is it a subscription where people are subscribed to your app and pay on a monthly basis? Of course, you do know by now that single payment is the lowest evaluated, then comes ads, and then subscription. So if your app is subscription based, that is kind of a good sign for your buyer. It's kind of a gold mine. Okay, rule number 4. Platforms supported. Now, this is kind of a tricky one, because as you know, this is an iOS channel, and I highly support, like I'm all in for Apple platform, the Apple platform. But do keep in mind that maybe your buyer or even you might want to cover also the Android platform. So 1 or 2 platforms, that is the question. And there is indeed a curse of one. For example, if you are all in for Apple, like for only on iOS, whenever Apple changes something, you just have to deal with it. And if you are on 2 platforms, well, okay, you're dealing with the iPhone app, but that change isn't available for your Android users, for example. So is the revenue or future potential worth maintaining the app on multiple platforms? This is the question that you need to ask when supporting your app on multiple platforms. Like, for example, let's say you have a very well and good revenue converting app on iOS, but the Android part, not really. So you have to kind of calculate, is it worth the effort? Is it worth the money to just pump there for the Android version? Now, the ideal part would be to be dominant on both worlds. Like have a good revenue on iOS and also have a good revenue on Android. Now, the model might be changing, like on the revenue model for the iOS, you could be like a one-off payment, and on Android, a subscription based, and still be half and half. But yeah, you need to consider all of these things. The next one, rule number 5, is age. Now, what do I mean by age? The older the app is, the better. Why is that? Because it is time tested. If it stood the test of time, it's a safer bet for the buyer to buy your app. And that kind of makes sense. If you are on the App Store for longer and downloads keep on pouring in, that means that your app is a good investment for the buyer. Now, here's a kind of a rule of thumb. Less than 20 months for a year, it's okay, but it's not likely that you will have a sellout. Now, between 12 months and 18 months, that's kind of reasonable, you can expect. But if your app is more than 18 months old, then you have a sure chance that the age is there and you have your data, you have your downloads. Yeah, so the age should be kind of like 18 months old. And build your app with the future maintenance in mind. What I mean here is that you will have to maintain this app for 18 months. You will have to do the bills. Maybe you are hiring somebody. It depends on your payment model, of course, but do keep this in mind. You should stick to your app at least 18 months. Okay, let's move forward with rule number 6, know your why. And this is really important. This is coming down to the data. So we have here, every developer says, it's not working, but why? It's working, but why? So be able to explain. So buyers will ask you kind of these questions, and you have to be prepared to answer them. And when you are building out your apps, you should consider these answers that you want to give to these questions when you are building your code, selecting your tech stack, all of that. So here you go, a few questions. Is your revenue downloads graph pointing to a specific trend? So is it kind of just a trend? Does your revenue downloads graph look like a stormy sea, meaning that it's somewhere up and somewhere down? So that's not really what buyers really want. They want a really stagnating growth, really all the way up, just pointing all the way up. Is your niche seasonable? Do you know why? So basically, if it's a seasonal app, then the buyer will be able to profit from it only seasonally. So is your traffic heavily based on user acquisition or social media boosts? Now, you have to be transparent here, and yeah, we will talk about this in just a second, but you have to know if your app is gaining momentum only because you acquired some users or had some social media boost, and you have to tell your buyer that, okay, this is what happened here. This is why we had all of these downloads. Okay, have you experienced compliance problems with Apple/Google? Yeah, if your app has these compliance problems, you have to be transparent with your buyer, and hopefully you will tell them, okay, this is how we solved it. This is what we did to be compliant with Apple/Google. What's your app's biggest weakness according to reviews? Now, this is a big one because actually your app is all about your customers, and the customers will give you reviews, stars, and also with text. Yeah, and they can be harsh. So you have to be aware of the weaknesses. It's not like, okay, if you just present your app's weakness, the buyer will just shy away and not buy your app. But you have to know their weaknesses. Maybe the buyer already knows how to fix that weakness. So yeah, you have to explain a lot of these questions that the buyers will ask. So yeah, keep in mind that. Be transparent. And yeah, as I already told you, you have to be transparent. Honesty pays. Don't hide skeletons in the closet. Now, nothing breaks a buyer trust more than finding unexpected surprises. So just be open with the good and the bad and the ugly. Go ahead and just show your plate. There's nothing, you shouldn't hide anything, basically. Transparency is key. Yes. So If you come to these 7 golden rules, why sell? Why build an app that sells? Let's take a look at this. Why would you sell it? Because you have a great app idea and you say, okay, I'm going to stick with this, I'm going to build this, and then it's kind of like, okay, but this is my app, I love it, I want to take care of it. But life happens, and why sell your ad? Well, here are some reasons why developers do sell their apps and will sell their apps. Maybe you want to take a break. Maybe you want to finance the growth of the business. Maybe you want to build another app, like a new exciting project that you want to take care of. Maybe you need cash right now. So life does happen, and if you do need cash, you want to sell out. Too many apps to maintain. Maybe that's your problem, that you have too many ideas and you have a lot of apps. And yeah, you don't have time or the budget for maintenance. Or, and this is kind of the most that I saw, you have no real marketing skills. You are a developer and you are just building these apps out. They are tremendous. They do work well. But you have no idea about marketing. So there's a marketing cap right over there. You can reach just a certain amount of people with this. Okay, so my question is, what is your exit plan? What is your exit plan for your app that you are building right now? With bluethrone, go ahead, check them out. It's at bluethrone.io. You might be exiting in as less as 21 days. Go ahead and check them out. Now you know how to build a sellable app, an app that sells. And then once you do that, or maybe you already have an app that adheres to all of these 7 golden rules, or maybe most of them, go ahead and check bluethrone out, because they will most probably buy your app if you do have all of these golden rules in place. So now that you know how you want to build your app that will sell eventually, it's time to move forward and learn about SwiftUI. Now, why do you want to learn SwiftUI? Well, that is the future that Apple is promoting for iOS apps. If you do like this video, go ahead and give it a thumbs up. And while you're at it, make sure to hit that notification bell to get notified of new videos like these ones. This is about SwiftUI, and also this is about SwiftUI. Go ahead and check them out. And as usual, I will see you in the next one.